Business Boost is brought to you by Mix 93.8 and the National Small Business Chamber, turning small business into big business.
Joining us on the line, CEO and founder of NSBC Africa, Mr. Mike Anderson. Mike, welcome back to the show.
Damian, yes, as always, good to be back.
Yeah, and we're talking about some really interesting stuff today. So I think a swear word for a lot of people, maybe a bit of a gripe, but the process of going through and trying to obtain funding for your business. Now, anyone who's been through it or have looked into it knows that obtaining funding to grow a business is extremely challenging. Why would you say this is the case?
Damian, there are many reasons, and we've been this for a long time, and of course we've done many things around it to try and sort this matter out. But a small business is the key reasons. If you bring it down, first of all, it's the difficulty in raising security. The banks require security in just about everything, and of course a small business and the owner himself or herself does not have the assets or the capability in many occasions on which to secure a loan. Then, of course, the risk attitude. Banks can have a risk-adverse attitude to new businesses. If a business is considered risky, the bank may charge and will charge a higher interest rate, which of course, a small business cannot normally afford, or the bank may decide not to lend at all. Then, of course, the owner, him or herself. Owners may not have the personal wealth to provide additional finance if required. At the same time, again, a bit of repetition, the security. Then, of course, trade credit. Suppliers may be reluctant to offer trade credit to a small company or a small business due to the increased credit risk, lack of skills, a big one. Owners may not have all the skills needed to attract the type of funding required, business angels, etc. And then cash flows. A startup business without previous experience has not demonstrated the ability to generate adequate cash flows to repay the finance. The big problem is here, Damian, is that in many occasions when it comes to funding, the business owner doesn't demonstrate the ability to repay that loan. And then finally, another highlight is, of course, a poor credit score. And this is disappointing because every business owner, every consumer out there is in charge of their own credit score. They decide on how they can make that change.
So what key insights or tips would you have for a business owner who has that bad or poor credit score but wants to improve it?
Well, first of all, while a good credit score doesn't guarantee you a loan, it gives lenders an idea of how you manage credit. So importantly, things that you can do to improve your credit score, experience a big part of us. We're spending a great deal of time changing the playing field out there, changing the mindset of helping business owners to improve their credit scores. Now, here's a couple of things we need to do. We need to pay all our accounts on time every month.
Yeah.
That's important. Don't make too many applications for credit at a time because everyone picks it up. And as far as possible, try not to use more than 50% of your available credit. So don't squeeze those credit cards every month because it does negatively affect your credit score. Then if at any time you have been unable to manage your debt, check whether the court has issued any judgment or administration orders against your name. But of course, these are also the key things that can lower your credit score. Late account payments, in converse, too many credit applications, using all your available credit, and having judgments or administration orders. So those kind of two work hand in hand.
Yeah, so those are some of the things to kind of work out and try and manage. Now, for business owners, they're trying to obtain funding. What would your best advice be to them?
Well, first of all, this sounds crazy, but try not to borrow money. That's the first thing. Second of all, try and use your efforts, try and use your drive, try and get through that first hurdle of getting your business going. And then, of course, borrow for the right reason. We mustn't borrow for the right reason. Don't buy all those things out there you don't need because you'll still be selling the things that you need. So be frugal, borrow for the right reason. Set yourself and your business into a solid foundation. Here, what I mean is, again, strive for a soaring high credit score. Always demonstrate your ability to repay the loan. And then, of course, keep fine-tuning your roadmap, your business plan, your strategic plan. And then finally, remember, this is a big one. If you have an abundance of sales, the cash will flow. So don't borrow money because you're not going out there and making the effort. So first of all, that's the key.
Now, Mike, in closing, I've heard that you guys have a big event coming up this Friday. What's going to be happening with you guys?
Well, Damian, it's appropriate on our discussion this afternoon. It's about funding your growing business, what funders are looking for, plus alternative funding options. And it's really exciting. You know, I have the opportunity to, in a Q&A session, to, of course, interview and chat to Ronnie Maptasani, the managing executive of SME business for ABSA. Fantastic guy. Super knowledgeable, and he's really out to give insights into business owners out there on how they can overcome this hurdle, how small businesses can access funding, as well as top tips on what funders are looking for. So it's a great event, and I know already we're on a super turnout, and it's always a big one, funding, but really it's worth taking some time out, half an hour, 45 minutes of your time. It's all happening this Friday, the 3rd of March at 1300, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And of course, if your listeners want to attend, Damian, just go to our homepage as usual, www.nsbc.africa. Right at the top, click on there, register. It's all complimentary on behalf of the sponsors, and I'm certainly looking forward to it.
Fantastic news. Mike, thank you so much for coming on and spreading some knowledge. As always, we'll catch up with you next week.
Fantastic, Damian. Have a good week.
Stay well.
Bye.
Mike Anderson, CEO and founder of NSBC Africa. They're having a really great event coming up this Friday. If you'd like to attend, you can head over to their website. That's nsbc.africa.
Business Boost is brought to you by Mix 93.8 and the National Small Business Chamber, turning small business into big business.